Back everyone for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. I hope you've enjoyed the first show that we had today. We have another show and we're going to a different destination. We're going to the US and we're going to talk about increasing visibility. And my guest today will, guide us and let us know how, you can increase your visibility. And she also have option for you to do that. She have some, platform that she's managing, and you will probably find, the one that you want to use and see, how you can also be part of this what's happening and increase your visibility and make sure people get to know your talent and you get to showcase, what you can do and play on your strength. So let's start. You know me by now. My name is Marai Tulekima. I'm streaming from Perth in Australia. So it's evening time for me and it's morning time in the US. So morning to everybody in the US. And I'm pretty sure you want to know who I'm hosting today. I'm hosting, wow, she calls herself the Butts in the Seat Queen. So her name is Kearn Cherry, and she will have the opportunity to introduce herself and let us know all about, who she is and what she does. And then we're gonna have this amazing conversation. So have your pen, have your paper to write down what's important and hopefully later on take action. So without further ado, we're gonna start this show and have, Kern with us and let us know how we can increase our visibility. Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Birai Telekima Global Leadership Organization.
Feel is important is if you just look at the word compassion, when it's behavior, it's something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily actions.
To get this idea that if we interject this wisdom intentionally, I call them needle movers. It's the needle mover that's missing.
Don't deprive the world of your greatness. Please. Don't do that anymore. Dare to excel, dare to be sexy, dare to be you, dare to be the best version of yourself. Impact yourself positively, and from there impact others. And you are not alone. So, welcome, Queen. Welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour show. It is such a pleasure. I'm excited to have you on the Greatness Engineering Hour, and I know it's going to be an hour of greatness. But before we get, to all the excitement, just want you to introduce yourself to the audience. Let us know who you are and any explosive things that is happening in your life and what we need to know about you.
All right. Well, I am Kearn Cherry. I am from Biloxi, Mississippi in the USA. We're about an hour from New Orleans. Most people know that place from around the world. They call me the Butts in the Seat Queen. That's what I've been planning and creating events with massive audience for over 20 years now. And
Wow.
so anyway, I also am the creator and producer of Level Up Summit, which we'll talk about later, Power Up Summit, and co-founder and director of Success Women's Conference, where when we first went virtual in 2020, we had over 17,000 viewers
Whoa.
from around the world. All those conferences are international as well. I'm also a visibility coach and an event producer coach, so I help other people create their own conference or event so they can be successful as well. I am the co-owner of a home care business, PRN Home Care, which has been in business for over 20, well, it's our 25th year this year. In addition, I've been in healthcare for over 35 years as well. I'm also releasing, I will talk about my upcoming book anthology called Undefeated, looking for 100 women from around the world to share their secrets of winning. So I am so happy to be here, Marilla. I thank you for having me.
I'm so happy as well, and it's amazing. I'm actually asking myself, how do you do all of this? This is a multi-talented queen that we have today, but we gotta focus on the visibility part because I think that's something that is really necessary right now with all the noise that is happening, everybody being online with the pandemic, so it becomes really difficult to be visible because there's so many of us online. So one thing that I want to ask you, what are the key things that you see as key enabler to get the right visibility online?
So really, truly, I always talk about when I'm talking about stop being the best kept secret, because most people, even though they're online, they're still not actually working to be visible, right? And so, for whatever reason, we were told it's just more humbling to stay behind the scene and not be seen, let people talk about you and wait for somebody else to celebrate you. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not what we were called to do, right? You are called to be a testimony and to share what's happening in your life. So some of the things that I always talk about, number one thing you can do to become extremely invisible, and it may seem like it's almost overnight, is to create your own event. Create your own event, because with that is going to come a lot of other things like you'll be connected to people. You have speakers that you connect to, your sponsors that you'll be connecting to, your audience that you can connect to, all those people that you're working with to create the event, your graphic designers, and all those people that you bring on board. Those can become collaborations as well. And so, and also you will get other opportunities, because most people who are speaking, they have their own events as well, their own tribe that they bring to your event. So you're actually expanding yourself. And it takes, of course, events take a little work, but at the same time, you're gaining so much from doing that. And then the second thing that I like to talk about is the third category that I like to focus on is podcasts, TV shows, and radio shows. You got to get your message out there and don't get stuck on just one stage. And so I always talk about getting on other people's stages. So we already talked about you can get on other people's events and conferences, right? Speaking at other events and conferences. But now we have podcasts, TV, and radio. Podcast has been around for a long time, but it was just underutilized, and maybe people were listening in. But now with the extra time, I always say we have extra time now because we're not
Mm-hmm.
traveling as much, we're not doing as much. So utilize that time to get out, to get on air on other people's show and share your message. No matter what you think people are thinking when you share, there is somebody that's waiting to hear your message, right? Because really your story is not your story. It's meant for somebody else. So you get on those podcasts and it's booming right now with
Mm-hmm.
podcasts and places like TV shows. TV, whether it's digital or whether you're going in local to share your message as well. But for TV shows now, the market for the digital is just exploding with Amazon and Roku and all these other digital businesses that are allowing people to come on and create their own TV show. Well, guess what? They need guests on their show as well. So you need
Mm-hmm.
to ask. I always say, Morella, closed mouths can't get fed. So if you just ask people, you'll find out that they are looking for guests for their show, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
the other is radio. Radio, like one of the oldest market for coming on and talking. People are just, look, y'all, you don't even have to get dressed, right? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
radio. They don't see you. So get on as many of those platforms as you can. Now, the third area that I love to talk about as well is magazines, books, and blogs. Those are other platforms that you can get on to share your message. So blogs, why would you want to do a blog? Because a blog has a tribe. A blog has people that are looking at it, they're reading it. So now we're in the print mode, right? So you can
Mm-hmm.
read a blog. You can go on and share out a story, write a short article. Yes, it's worth your time because somebody that needs to hear it may connect to it. Who knows? It might be a publicist or somebody who's in the that's a journalist that's reading and want to share that out as well, and they may reach out to you. But think about blogs, and then there are magazines. Magazines, oh my goodness, there are so many being developed right now. People are getting into business because it's digital. They've gone from print to digital. My goodness, even Oprah magazine, the old magazine, is in digital format now, right? So that just should tell you where the mind is right now, where people are looking. They're reading online, they're reading on their phone. And so you need to put yourself out there. And there are a lot of smaller magazines where you can get in and start sharing your article. You can actually be a contributor writer. You can be a feature where you say who you are and what you're doing. And sometimes you can just step up and be the cover girl, right? Some of
Mm-hmm.
us have been there, and you'd be surprised at how many people eyes are watching that magazine. Because all of those have tribes. Again, they have people that are tuned in. And then there's the book anthology. Now, book anthology, for me, that is an area where I normally am like, well, who said books, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
years back in 2019, I would have never been that person that you see in a book, and not I would say creating your own book anthology. And I think I mentioned earlier uh,
Mm-hmm.
that my next one is Undefeated. So in 2019, after one of our largest, well, at the time, largest conference in person, we had about 1,500 people here, 25 states represented. So keep in mind, y'all, that's half of the USA people were
Mm-hmm.
from, and 120 people, 120 speakers represented here in just little old Biloxi, Mississippi. Now we're little, but at the same time, we have 11 casinos and we have
Mm-hmm.
beaches here as well, just so y'all know that. But God gave me, after after that conference, I was a little unfulfilled in my own self, even though everything went as well as could be expected. I still was a little unfulfilled. So I asked God, what should I be doing? And he gave me two things, Power Up Summit and book anthologies. So the Power Up Summit now is just taking off. It's international. We created Level Up from that as well. And then the book anthology, I just thought, he must be talking to somebody else because I'm just not that person that says, oh, I just love writing and journaling and things like that. Well, what I found out, Morella, is that he it wasn't for me. It was not for me. It was for me to bring other people and women that a lot of them I had never met before, never seen them before, but they came in. There was 30 of us total. We were the forward actually was by Gloria Mayfield Banks. Many of y'all may know her because she's a global woman that headed up Mary Kay for years, top person in sales. But anyway, those ladies came in and they didn't know each other as well, but they shared their story. And from that, because I'm a visibility coach, they were doing interviews together and through that, they were getting to know each other. And therefore, now these women are amazing, doing amazing things. Several of them have done 3 or 4 of their own anthologies, been in other people's anthology, creating their own magazines, creating their own events, their own podcasts. Many of them have podcasts, and I didn't even know they had a podcast. That's how unseen they were. And so from that, their podcast, one of my good friends, Sandy Sanders, now her podcast, she's doing book talks and all that stuff. It's just literally they have blown up their visibility. And so book anthologies allow you to form collaboration. That's what a book anthology is. It's a collaboration of people coming together to share their story. So from that, you really get other collaborations. So I say that because it is important for you to realize every time you get in something that allows you to collaborate with many people, it's going to increase your visibility to a whole different level. And so I encourage people, do those things. So I just went over creating your own event is one, TV, podcast, and radio. That's 2. And then 3 is magazine, blogs, and books, and particularly book anthologies, but books. So those are the top 3 categories that I like to go over when talking to people about what can you do to stop being the best kept secret, to get out your own local pond and start swimming in the global ocean.
And sometimes it's actually because we don't believe in ourselves, because the media was so close, it was a very close industry, that even if we have all of this available, we don't actually have the courage or the we don't believe in ourselves to just go and do it, even if we know that we're gonna make mistake. It doesn't matter. We just have to show up. So how do you help people to get this strength to put themselves out there? Because not everyone is ready to do that. Even if they know that, they can increase their visibility, there's always this, this fear that, people are gonna like me. Who am I to do that? So how do you deal with this type of, attitude or emotions?
Well, I push people to just do it. And so one of the ways, because that's a mindset thing, it's a negative mindset. And I always tell people one of the things you need to do is declutter around you, as far as people who are around you, who's in your inner circle, who's in your ear, who's telling you positive and who's encouraging you and who's actually holding you back. Sometimes the closest people in your circle, you think they're for you, but they're really not. And so part of that also is, starting when I have speakers on my platform, like for my conference, the ones coming up, Level Up, and all the others that I mentioned. What I like to do is put them on a mini little speaking tour. And that really does help a lot of people that have that mindset that I can't do it. So on that little mini speaking tour, I actually book them in groups. So it kind of takes away that individual thing, right? So I book them in groups, even with my authors, book them in groups, and then they can slowly start talking about their story. And so by the time they get to the conference or the book releases, they're feeling a little empowered, right? Because now went from one podcast to another podcast, a TV show, you're being featured in the magazine, and all of a sudden you're coming out of that shell of not being seen. So that's why when you do things that allow you to do more than just being on that one stage, it actually enhances your mindset of believing you can do this. And so look for that when you join in projects. If you join an anthology and they're actually going to be doing interviews in groups and things like that, it's going to help you open up and feel comfortable, because you're going to see other people who don't feel as comfortable as well. But when you're together, right? Two together, it kind of empowers people to say, oh, well, she's doing it, I can do it. So that is one of the structure for me that I like to set up with my visibility people. When I'm working with them, I try to get them to do some things that are in groups as well. And it really does. I've seen people in my anthologies that have gone from the person that would never be seen out front to the person that's always out front. So that is one way that I like to get people out of their comfort zone. Is what you're doing. You're pushing them out of their comfort zone.
Fantastic. And I think there is somebody corroborating here. A.P. Robertson, she said, Kearn consistently encourages to push forward. She is amazing. So great, great comment. So we will take, I will take the opportunity just to have a break, and then we'll come back with Kearn to talk about specifically what she's doing right now to help people, get the visibility, but also what she's created, the different platform that she's offering to do that. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in few minutes. So we are back. We are back with Kearn and the conversation. I hope that you've taken note, because there was a lot of nuggets from from her. So make sure you understand that there are platforms, there are tools, and there are people who can help you to increase your visibility. So my question now, what are the tools that you use, and what are the platform that is available that you help people with?
So, well, like I said, for me, I am really into creating events. And so one of the things that I like to encourage people to do, first of all, you want to create an event that allows you to feel successful as well as be profitable as well. And sometimes that comes in different formats, but I like walking people through and helping them. I had um, a client last year that came to me. She had no experience in the event world, and she really wanted to produce her own event. So she understood what was happening from other people having their own events and platforms. And so we actually got behind her as a team, bringing my team forward and created the things that she wanted. Now, sometimes people do some of the things that they want to do, and you have to experience that in order to know what not to do the next time. But what it allowed her to do, and she's actually not a person that doesn't speak out, but at the same time, when it comes to events, she's only hiding behind the scenes. Now she's in front. So she went from somebody who had probably her expectation of an event would have been 300 to 500. She had over 1,300 people sign up for her first ever event. And so I like helping push people in that direction and then allowing them to see their vision come to life. I mean, she had her own award ceremony, all those things that people want. Her keynote. Now she chose her keynotes, but it was really good. And bringing in the speakers, that's where I live. And helping with that. And so the other thing I do from that field as well, Morella, is helping speakers, encouraging and pushing them. Don't just get on my platform, but get on other people's platform. You should be speaking 4 to 6 times a month. And yeah, at least a month. Why? Because people like Les Brown, who's 76, and we all know who Les Brown is. He made the statement. He said, look, I speak 4 to 6 times a day. And then for my keynotes, that's a couple of other ones, couple of keynotes a day. Now he's 76, y'all. And if he's speaking that much, what he understands and probably has known for many, many years, right, is that in order to stay relevant, in order for you to be considered for these opportunities when we do come out of this worldwide pandemic, you're going to have to stay visible. I always tell people when you're picking your keynote, do they have butts in the seat behind them? Are they out speaking now? Have they been speaking for the last 2 to 3 years? Because if they haven't, they're not relevant. If it doesn't matter if there's some kind of celebrity or something like that. If they're not actually being out front so that people know that they have a message, they're not going to draw anybody to their event. So you have to. So I like to work with people to help them with those type of things because most people don't realize the importance of knowing those little things when you're creating an event. And then when it's promoting the event, that's the other thing. A lot of people think I can just put a flyer up and everybody knows. Well, guess what? Social media, they like interaction. You got to have some other things going on. And yes, they like people that pay as well. Just so you know, they run it. Look, it's not a free site. Y'all think Facebook and Instagram and all those places are free? It's money, and they're driven by it. So if you're not spending money, you're only going to go so far, and you're only going to reach so many people. But that's what I do when it comes to utilizing my events to really help people. We also do trainings and things like that. And then I talk about what do you need to be doing to make sure that you're a speaker that other people want. For somebody that screens out a lot of speakers over a short period of time, I know what I'm looking for. And so I can tell you what a lot of other conference directors are looking for as well. And so going over that and reminding people, look, the first thing you want to do is make sure you have your headshot and your bio. And it should not be with your phone. I don't care how good your phone is. Get professional shots and then get your bio professionally done. So when I see your name and I pull it, I'm going to see a very nice professional headshot and a bio. And you don't have to spend a ton of money to do that. You just need to make sure it's done by a professional. So that is what I like to do when I'm talking to speakers and encouraging them and trying to empower them to elevate their game, to elevate their message and to spread it out to the world.
Fantastic. And it's important to know because you just mentioned the fact that people just, create flyers and then they just run it on through Facebook and they at the end they realize that it's not doing anything. And yet there's a process to go through. There are tools that you have to use. And like you said, when in doubt, go to a professional because otherwise it is very, very, very difficult. So, have you ever been in a situation because when you run your own events, you know exactly what you're looking for. So, what are the key criteria that you're really looking for not only the people that are going to participate with you in your event, but also the people who are going to collaborate with you? What are the key things? Is there specific thing that you are looking for, or is it something that you just foresee and then get everybody and with the confidence that you're going to be able to get them to blend or to collaborate properly with you?
Yeah. Everybody doesn't fit into your circle. So you have to be mindful of who you connect to. I do. For me, I draw to a certain personality, and I look for that. I screen a lot of people because there are a lot of people right now because of social media. There are a lot of people that are out for themselves. And so when they see what you're doing, they want to attach themselves to you. And you really have to think about this. Every year you need to look once or twice and actually decide who actually belongs in that circle. And from that you can build your inner circle. One of my friends calls it a purge. She purges people every once or twice a year. She just goes through and say they're not offering anything. Well, the same thing when you're building your team that helps you produce something. You have to really look and see, is that person for me being successful, right? And that's not a selfish statement. When you're paying people or they're coming and they're getting and gaining, because I always tell people, most people working with me, they're gaining clients from what I do. And so therefore I need to look at what their contributions really are. If they're just getting paid and I'm not really happy with our conversations, how they show up, are they a part of my team and really wanting to push the team forward? I have to look at that and reassess that every year. Everybody is not meant to be on your team. So when you're looking for a graphic designer, you want to look and see if they have work that they've done before. Ask them to submit that to you, or who's their previous client. Of course, it's great if there are referrals where people are talking about them and that you've seen their work. That actually helps you, right? And you don't have to do as much digging. But you want to look for that. A web designer, because you're going to need these people. A web designer. You want to look at the websites that they've done previously for other people? Have they done one for a conference? Because a conference website looks a lot different from a personal website. So you want to look at their skills and things like that. You want to make sure that somebody that's helping you, I always say, on your team, you want to have that person that can tell you no, right? And that's the finance people, the people that help you. Now, you're not going to have many of the people because most people just don't like dealing with other people's money. You do need somebody on that team that's going to actually say, hey, you're spending just that's a lot of money, right? And do you really need it, or you just shouldn't do it? Have those people on your team. And then you want that person that don't mind hearing no until they get to a yes. Those are the people that help you bring in sponsors, whether they're in kind or whether they're actually paying. You want those type of people on your team. If you're not an expert at it and you struggle with that, then you want to make sure that you bring other people in that will help you develop a plan and then go after people like that. So those are just some of the people on the team, but you definitely want to look at, are they literally active? Do they actually, are they online? The other thing that I look for in people when it comes to events, the people that help me promote, do they really help you promote? Because I use a lot of ambassadors. And so I go to their page and I screen them. If you're not sharing other people's stuff, you're not going to share my stuff. So I just keep that in mind. When you say you want to be an ambassador for my conference, if I go to your page and everything I see is you, then this is just not the position for you. So I screen that out because, there's no need of you wasting your time and I'm wasting mine thinking that you're going to help and you're not. But look at those kind of things when you're putting an event together.
Fantastic. And those are really important information because sometimes we have the feeling that you just show up and then, that's it. You don't need to have a proper team. You start on your own and then you get one person there when you need it, but you have to put everything together ahead of, the event and then, work with the team consistently and have, sustainability through the process from the preparation to the event itself. So we're gonna have a small small break. We're having somebody watching from Cameroon, so Cameroon in West Africa. Thank you, Sandra, for tuning in. I hope you're learning a lot today, and next time you'll try to be more visible. And because that's what it's all about now, we have to try, we have to put ourselves out there, and it's not easy, but the first step is to just show up and stop being the best kept secret. So we will be back, just a short break, and we are back with our queen of today. So we are back. We are back with the Butt in the Seat Queens. Now you know why she's called the Butt in the Seat Queen. She could, prove it to you today. She's pushing people, she guiding people, and making sure you get out of your comfort zone, you get out of your way to be visible. So next, I really want to know, because there are a couple of events that you are going to run, and there's few projects as well. Can you tell us more about those events and those projects?
All right. So, as I mentioned before, I've been doing events now for over probably closer to 30, but over 20 something years now. And so, some of the events that I'm running this year in 2022, the first up is Level Up. Level Up Summit will actually be March the 25th through the 27th. That's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday here in the USA. But it is an international conference. And so we're actually, we bring in speakers from around the world, some of my features and guests. And then we have other speakers that come on board. This conference is about you leveling up as a person, and wherever you at, it's time to take that next step and push yourself, elevate yourself to the next level. So those speakers will be pouring out and talking to people around the world and helping them to level up, whether it's finances, whether it's you're a parent that needs some help. We love to have panel discussions during those presentations as well. We will have a networking session where you can tune in from wherever you're at and be a part of that as well. We typically start our day off, and what I'm excited about, we're doing something a little different this year because I'm going to bring on co-hosts, and we're going to be on social media platforms a little more than we normally are, right? So we're going to kick off the mornings, me and the co-host talking about who's coming up in the morning session, who you can look forward to being on the stage. So Morella, we actually use our broadcast. We build a custom broadcast system where people can go to. So once you register and you see right there in the link, go to time, the number 2, the levelup.com, time, the number 2, levelup.com, and go ahead and pre-register right now. Once we start sending out messages, it will actually go to all the people that are registered for the event, and you'll get notifications. And once we get to the event, you'll actually know, okay, these keynotes are hitting the stage. These headliners are hitting the stage, and we want to get you on. But like I said, we start in the morning. And so when I say 8 o'clock, that's Central Time over here in the USA.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but we start in the morning early. We're actually going to start a little earlier than that because we're going to do some behind the scenes so that you see what happens for us to get ready in the morning. And then we'll go to our midday. And in the midday, again, we'll bring the co-host and I'll come back on live. You'll see us on Facebook, streaming out, talking about who's coming for the midday. What should you expect during that time frame as well? Typically, we like to bring our power speakers, some of our features in as well. And so that is typically what happens in the middle of the day, along with those panel discussions. When we do panel discussions, we like to talk about there are so many worldwide events that impact people around the world. And so I love to have discussions on any of the things that women go through, like domestic violence, child abuse recovery, sexual assault, those panels, parenting, PR and marketing for you business people, hearing it from some pros who've been doing it for years that share out some of their secrets as well. Then we'll do some other conversation just for you women as well. But Level Up is not just for women, it's for men as well. And so we'll have some discussions and you'll hear some of our speakers that are men as well. Then we go into the evening session, and that's typically where the keynotes come out. My co-hosts, they'll be doing their presentation. Some of our top other speakers, features that will be coming out. So I like to work with, and then people that are from other countries, we try to merge them in the time frames where people from their country can see them on stage as well. So that is typically the first 2 days, Friday and Saturday, is going to look like that. But this year, we will also have a smaller event in person on Sunday, and we're going to be bringing a live entertainment. And right now, I can't, until we sign the contract, announce the group. But they're a little different, and I think y'all are going to love these 3 Black women who are going to be singing. I just have to wait till I get that contract in place. But we're also going to recognize authors. So authors, when I say recognize, authors for the last couple of years that are creating and participating in books, many have not been able to actually have a book signing. Or, maybe they have one, but it's smaller, and I get it. And so as somebody who does books myself. And so from that, we're going to do booths where people can come and get their book signed, take pictures and all that type of stuff prior to our entertainment. So we'll do that live here in Biloxi, but we will stream it out to the world so everybody can see and participate as well. So that's kind of like the short version of what we're doing, but I am looking for speakers. So if you are looking to speak on the stage, go ahead to Time to Level Up and hit that place where it says you're interested in speaking. I'm doing call for speakers right now every week. So I highly suggest that you go there and register, and we will reach back out to you as well and send you times and dates. So that is Level Up. Power Up, you can write down the dates for that. It's the 27th through the 31st. It's a bigger conference, and it's 5 days, July the 27th through the 31st. And you can go to powerupsummit.com, powerupsummit.com, and you can see all the major celebrities that we had at that conference last year, which was Kim Coles, the actress from Living Single, in case you didn't know who she was. We also had Lisa Nichols, international motivational speaker. Then we also had Grammy Award winning Chrisette Michelle and many other people, over 120 speakers that we had there. And then Success will be back in September. Success Women's International.com is where you can go for Success. SuccessWomenInternational.com is where you can go for Success. That will be in September coming up this year, y'all. And so you definitely want to go there and check us out. We've had Les Browns, we had Dr. Frazier, Forrest Riley, Sharon Lecter. I can just keep going. Robin Roberts from Good Morning America, Lisa Nichols, and so on. That has been a success. And then later in October, my client, her conference, Sister Leaders with an S, conference.com is hers. Sister Leaders conference.com will be hers as well. So mark your calendar because those conferences are coming. And guess what? I recruit the speakers. So if you're looking to speak and get on stages that are international, yes, reach out to me, and you can go to my website, KearnCherry.com, that I mentioned before. It's going to be a great opportunity. If you're looking, no matter where you're tuning in from, you can be on those stages because they all have virtual platforms for people to participate as well. So that's what I'm doing with my conferences. Marilla. So, I got other stuff going on as well.
Fantastic. So you can't run out of option. There's so many events. So make sure you consult all the website and then you find the events or it can be one or two or three or all of them. Just check and make sure you register at least for, before it gets, packed up, because I see that you attracting so many people. So rush, get in contact with Kern, and also if you want to speak, that's very important as well, to get in contact with her now so that she can schedule you in some of those exclusive events. So make your way. When we finish, don't even wait, just go and register and connect with Kern for that. So we're reaching the end of the show, and the one thing that I really like, I mean, we all do so many things, and you're doing some amazing thing. You've been helping people with visibility, doing events, making an impact in people's lives. So what is really the legacy that you want to leave, doing all of this? Because it's one thing to do it, but what's really the mission that you have beyond all of this?
So my mission is to help people get their message out to the world. So I'm a natural giving type person, and so my goal is to make sure that you have the opportunity to share your message across the platform. So many people get stuck and frustrated because many people are so focused on their backyard, so to speak, right? But the pandemic has allowed us as an individual to connect with people around the world now. Many of us were online, but how many of y'all actually were communicating with these people that are online that are not in your city that you live in, right? But now we're being forced out of that comfort zone. And so what you're going to find is often said that a prophet is appreciated in their backyard. Yes, now you don't have to worry about just staying focused in your backyard. And you're going to find that you're going to connect to many people who were waiting to hear your message, who are waiting for you to help them. Sometimes your message may save a life. Sometimes your message may help somebody in their next step of their business. But if you don't get out there, you'll never achieve that. And so, and for most people, helping somebody else, you find a lot of gratification in that, right? So I always encourage people, get out there, and that's why I have the conferences, the events that we do, the coaching that I do. And if you don't have a coach, y'all, don't keep waiting. Go get you one, because it's going to help you get through a lot of stuff that coach has already been through. Is going to save you time. And so that is really what I look to do, and encourage people to also walk in your gifts. The gifts open doors. Proverbs 18:16 says, when you walk in your gift, I'm summarizing, you walk in your gift, God will put you at the table of great men. And that really means, in translation, you will make money from your gifts. You will find the satisfaction that you've been looking for because you operated in your own God-given gifts. Everybody has a gift when they're born. You are not born void. You are born with gifts. Many, but you have to be willing to tap into it. You have to be willing. If you don't understand what it is, then what you need to say, you need to ask. Because as I said before, closed mouths don't get fed. So you need to ask so you can receive.
Fantastic. It has been amazing. Thank you so much, Karen, for this inspiration, and also for giving us so much today in terms of knowledge and helping us to take these first steps, because sometimes we need to hear a voice to actually get the shift and start doing things. And I think that's what you did today, just bringing your voice and bringing your knowledge so that people understand that they have to, like you say, get out there, walk in their gifts, and ask when they don't know exactly how to go about it. And that's really what we want. And I also want you, if you want to continue to have this inspiration, if you want to continue to have this knowledge, make sure you register to all the conferences there, many. So I doubt that you're not going to find your conference. There's Sister Leaders Conference, there's Success Woman International Conference, there's the Power Hub Conference, there's a Level Up Conference, and there's also the possibility to just, connect with Karen directly and understand what she can do for you. So it has been really amazing and really inspiring, insightful for me. And I thank you so much for gracing the platform of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. So if you don't have anything else to say to the audience, I'm going to say bye-bye to everybody. Have a great weekend. And I will be back with another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show next week. And I hope, and I really hope that whoever is listening or watching the show, the replay, or not, or watching now, that you've taken notes and you are ready to implement and you are ready to connect with Kern to know more about what she's doing. Obviously, 1 hour is a bit short, but you always have the possibility to connect with her on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram. She's everywhere, and I think she's under her own name, so you can't miss her. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Stay blessed, and good luck with everything that you're doing to make a difference and to make sure that people get their message out there. And for the audience, it's see you next time. I hope you'll be coming and really participate again to another episode where I'm gonna make sure I bring you somebody who is a champion, just like I do all the time, and who is bringing a particular knowledge to help you to go to the next level of your greatness. So thank you so much, and see you next time.